Hello my friends, my name's Gene Arnold and thanks so much for tuning into another episode of Regular Guy Mountain Biking. In today's video, I'm going to do a long-term review of the Archer Components D1x wireless shifting add-on that you could put on your existing drivetrain on your mountain bike. So I can finally say that I've been using this product for quite some time now. And I want to do a long-term review because I've been getting asked a lot of questions on it, which is cool. There's interest. And here's what I'm going to cover in this video. I'm going to cover, number one, how reliable it is. Because I'm sure you want to know, right? That's what a long-term review is all about. I want to cover features that I like. Clearly, I want to cover some features that I don't like. And there are also a couple things I want to bring up that actually I thought were going to matter, but didn't really matter in the long run. And finally, if you hang out to the end, I'm going to install a mod into this to see if it actually speeds up the shifting more than what comes out of the box. They just came out with this mod, so I'm going to give it a try. So if you stay to the end, you can take a look at it. I haven't seen it myself yet. I haven't tried it. So this video is going to be pretty cool across the board for me. So stay tuned and let's get things started. All right, cool. So let's go talk about the features that I like. Got my little phone here so I don't leave anything out. Let's go from the top to the bottom. First thing, it is definitely easy to shift with the two buttons that come on the controller. There's a controller up here, and this controller has two buttons, okay? The buttons can be assigned whether it shifts the derailleur up or down, meaning I could have one button, have it go to the smaller gears, or have that same button go to the larger gears. I get to pick which button I like and how I want to use it. So I do like that it's customizable, and I also like the way it feels. I also like, and this is a personal preference for me. I like the one button, one gear. Now I know with traditional shifters you can kind of click and it's supposed to go to the gear, but I gotta tell you this, when you click one button, it's gonna go up one gear. And when you click one button, it's gonna go down one gear. You just know. So what I found is that because I can really pick the gear now, I'm doing that. I'm picking the gears that I want to be using as I ride up and down hills in different sections. With the traditional mechanical one, I'm just kind of pushing it and I don't really know exactly what gear I'm in. I got a pretty good idea, don't get me wrong. But this, you just know. One button, one gear. Now you also have the ability to hold it in and have it move up and down multiple gears if you want to kind of move through the gears faster. But I like the one button, one gear. Now I also like this easy micro adjustment feature within this particular controller. Now you have to get the one with the added little micro button. This one has this small little micro button over here. What that means is when you push that button in, now these are going to nudge the derailleur a little bit. It's kind of like adjusting the barrel adjuster on your shifter handle. Okay, so when you push that button in and you shift up and down, you're not really shifting, you're adjusting the derailleur. And then when you click the button again, that now locks in as the new location for that gear. So it is very, very easy out on the trails or anywhere to adjust this system now with this new micro adjustment button feature. As far as battery life goes, it lasts a really long time. I don't have, all I can say is a really long time. And what's really long? I know that's not a real technical term, but I almost never change the batteries in this thing. So that means whether I'm riding or even if it's just sitting there not being used, the batteries last quite some time, like a month. I mean, like it's really, I'm never worried about the batteries dying, and if I was even worried about it, there are some extra batteries that I keep in my bag just for the sake of doing it. And there are also some features in the system that are used as a backup, so that if the battery does die, it'll shift to a particular gear that you want it to be in, just so at least it's gonna, in its dying state, it'll be in a gear that you want it to be in. So that's another cool feature. So battery life has been good. Another thing is easy to install and set up. It was. I mean, installing the shifter is mindless. There's no cable, so there's no routing of anything through the whole bike. There's one little cable which goes from the actual shifting mechanism to the derailleur. I'm not going through the install in this video, but safe to say it was very, very easy to install. And with the app that comes for the phone, Pairing it with the device was a piece of cake, and setting it up was a no-brainer. So easy setup. It really was. Now, something else that's pretty cool that I don't think has ever really been brought up before. You can choose how many gears it's going to be shifting and using. Meaning, I'm using a box setup right now, 9-speed. I could technically use this with a SRAM cassette with 11 or 12 gears. I could use it with a 10-speed cassette. You set up the system for whatever amount of gears you want. So what that also means is, let's just say for training purposes, I wanted to force myself to no longer use the big bailout gear. Let's just say I wanted to lock it out so that I'm not using the big pizza pie in the back. You can do that. You go through the app, you set it up to say, okay, turn this into an 8-speed. Okay, I can actually move up and down and literally lock out gears from the top or the bottom with this. It's just a cool feature. I'm not saying everybody's going to do it, but you can't do it with anybody else's. And that's going to lead me to the final one, that it does work on basically any system. It technically will work on a front derailleur, rear derailleur type of system, because it's only affecting the rear. So I guess if you wanted to have a front derailleur, you could, but that's kind of gone. This is really designed, I think it's best for a one-by system. But it doesn't matter what system you have. That could be a SRAM, that could be a Shimano. I don't know, pick anybody you want. It doesn't make a difference. You can use this shifter mechanism on any of them, because all you're technically doing is telling the rear derailleur to move. So you're still using all the parts that came with your traditional drivetrain anyway. So there's really no reason why it wouldn't work with anybody's. And since you can literally pinpoint where every single shift is, there's no reason why it wouldn't work with pretty much anything out there on the market. So now, nothing in this world is perfect. Let's now talk about some of the things that I don't like. One thing I don't like is that the system doesn't tie into any of the current bike computers. Now, I use a Wahoo bike computer and not a Garmin. It seems like most accessory tools have kind of bought into the Garmin computer system, but this one doesn't even do that. Now, when I did the install on the Pumpkin bike, I did find that when I put the rear tire on, the shifter can sometimes get in the way of putting the tire back on, or technically taking the tire off. So on this particular bike, it seems to get in the way a little bit when you put the tire on or take the tire off, the wheel, okay? It wasn't that on other bikes I've tried it on, but this particular one, it is like that. Now, that's really going to come down to not as much the shifter, it's more around the frame, but it is a con, right? There's no guarantee. I can't promise you that it won't kind of get in the way when you put the tire on and off. I can promise you that's not going to get in the way when you're using it, but when you take the tire on and off, it could be a little bit of a bugger, because it could get in the way. Now, I mentioned earlier that there is a small cable within this system, right? The actual shifting device here, this little guy, connects to your existing rear derailleur with about a foot of cable. So that means technically that cable can stretch. You still have one extra little mechanical piece in there, opposed to the SRAM wireless system, where it's all in the derailleur. There is nothing else. You just put the derailleur on and you're done. So that means that in time, and I actually have to do a little tuning up on this as well right now, your shifting may be a little bit off because it's a cable, just like any other cable system. That's why the micro adjuster is so cool. But I do want to put that in what I don't like. I don't know how you get around it. I mean, but there is a cable in the system, so you do have to think about that. Now, though I said the install was easy, and it is, it's definitely not quite as plug and play as, again, the SRAM system. The SRAM wireless system is designed for their system, so it can be very plug and play. It knows exactly the spacing of the gears on their cassette, and you literally just take your rear derailleur off and you put their rear derailleur on, the new wireless one, and you're done. With this one, there's a little bit more work involved. Not a lot, but I do have to say that it is something that I would have to say is a ding. It's not really their fault, but it is not as easy to install as a direct mount replacement like the SRAM one. Now, I really only have one thing I want to talk about when it comes down to things that I thought were going to be an issue, but actually turned out not being an issue at all. Everyone thinks that, oh my gosh, I'm going to have this shifter on my frame and it's going to get beaten up by rocks. You're going to break it. It's going to be ruined. Look, it's just not the case, okay? I mean, technically you can hit anything on the bike somehow, but this is not in as vulnerable a place as you might think. I mean, for a rock to get, you kind of have to go out of your way to hit the thing, and it's not like it's made out of construction paper, folks. I mean, they really built this thing strong, which I'll talk about in just a moment when I go into the reliable part. But when I mounted it, I did worry a little bit about maybe it's going to get hit. I've never hit the thing once. Okay, so as far as this thing getting beaten up, me personally, I've never had an issue with it. So I do want to just bring that up, that it's not something that I think you should worry really much about at all. All right, now let's talk about reliability. This is going to be an interesting one because I actually tested out earlier releases of this system. Okay, I've actually been hanging around with Archer for quite some time when they first came out. And I was, calling Devin back and forth. Devin's, one of the owners of the company, and I've talking about how the shifter's working. The first couple that came out, they didn't do too good with water. In fact, they didn't do too good at all with water. And unfortunately for Archer Components, when they sent me one of these little guys to review, it was probably during one of the wettest, slushiest, yuckiest winters we could have ever had. I mean, these poor guys had everything against them when it came to me reviewing it. It was working great for the folks that were riding in the desert, okay, but for me, in the slush and the slop, it just wasn't holding its own. So how have they combat that? How do they fix that? All right. Well, everything's like laser sealed now, or glue. I mean, it's all crazy airtight now. Okay, so they completely revamped the way the case is welded together. So that's all done. They've altered things in the battery compartment. They've added rubber gaskets on different areas, rubber seals on different areas that were having some issues. I have had no water problems whatsoever with the new design. I will tell you that I did in the beginning, and because of that, I actually didn't even use the system for a while because I was kind of like, the thing's got to work, and it was a crapshoot sometimes. And I'm sorry, Archer Components, but it was. But it's not anymore. I do believe it will work now. I don't feel like I'm rolling the dice. I do feel like it's a very reliable piece of kit now, and you've done a very good job fixing things. So as far as reliability goes, the thing is built solid. It's very strong, and I've had no water problems with it ever since the changes to the design and the way they built the system. Okay, now I promised that if you hung around to the end of the video, we'd try out this new mod to the Archer system. What these dudes found out is that they could get these smaller batteries. This thing takes two AA sized batteries. They're not AA batteries. They're like LiPo or something, whatever they are. They're not AA's. You can't put AA's in this thing, but they're AA sized batteries. What they did was they found these little guys, these 3 batteries that with a different little door in the back that I'll show you everything. You can actually get more power to the motor, and it should shift it considerably faster. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to set up the camera, and I'm going to show you what the shifting looks like without the mod. I'll install these guys for you, and then we will do some more shifting and take a look at how it changes the way the thing works. Okay, so now let's go and set a starting point. The batteries are charged. Everything is good with the system. Let's just do a little bit of shifting now. We'll get an idea of speed, okay? Okay, so we're at the highest gear, up, up. All right, that's about as fast as I can get from the bottom right? The highest gear to the lowest gear, 9-speed. Now I do have the ability to do, if I hold the button down, I've set it to go 3 gears at a time. So I just drop 3 gears. Okay, that's another 3. And then we're back down to the bottom. Okay, so let's go to the top here real quick. That is as fast as I can do it from the top, from the bottom to the top. And again, we'll go down now. Okay, so that is the speed that I am at right now with the stock batteries in the system. Okay, so now I'm going to install the mod, the different batteries. Here are the 3 batteries and the new cap that goes in the back. So right in here is where I have to unscrew the existing cap, take out the 2 batteries that are in here, and then replace it and, well, give it all a shot. So let's get going and let's make this happen. All right, now for the moment of truth, we're going to go and turn this puppy on. Okay, this is on, and we will connect it again with the shifter. And let's go see if the shifting is any better. I mean, not that it was really bad, but let's see how it's going now. Oh, I can definitely get up there quicker now. Wow. I can basically go as fast as I want to go now. Whoa, look at that. Okay, let's do the triple one. Done. That is a lot faster. Down 3, down 3, down. All right. Okay, that made a big difference. I am moving around these gears. Look at this. Yeah. Wow. All right, those 3 batteries definitely made a big difference, like a big difference. Wow, that little mod, those extra batteries really made a big difference with the shifting speed. I could totally see the difference. Now, installing those new batteries didn't take much of anything, and it worked out really well. I was definitely impressed with the speed increase. Let's now put a bow on this video and finish things up. I'm very happy with the Archer Components D1x system. Would I buy it again? Yes. I'm going to be full disclosure. This one was sent to me, but I am looking into now purchasing one for my my Polygon Siskiyou D6. I like this system. Now that it's more reliable, it's working great. I like it a lot, and I don't want to keep bouncing and changing between different systems. I want some kind of standard. I like this. I also really like it with the box components. That's my setup now. It's box and Archer. That's what I'm going to be using. So I'm happy, and that's also going to be the end of my long-term review. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments below. Okay, I'd be happy to answer as many as I can. All right, because that's what I like to do. And there you have it. All right, Gene from Regular Guy Mountain Biking. Thanks so much for watching the video. As always, keep the party on the pedals, my friends, and I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.